All right.
Welcome to Sports Back Talk with Boley and Ringer. Mike, what are we going to talk about this week? We got all kinds of stuff that we could start with, but what's on the forefront of your brain?
Well, Vikings are probably out of the playoffs with Detroit winning, but I would guess we start there. I mean, I don't know how they can come back from this.
They are they're in eighth place, 6-6 in the NFC. So that means they're only 2 spots out of making the playoffs. I mean, they got to win 4 straight. It's the only way, right?
Yeah, we have to run the table. There's no question. Just think back before goose hunting season, we were 5-0. Went out to North Dakota, lost to Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's been downhill since 1-5. So, 1-6.
1-6.
Yeah. So they're 6-6 now. Green Bay's tied with them. And what did I tell you 3 weeks ago? Who was going to win that division?
You said the Green Bay Packers.
And it's in their hands because Detroit has 3 tough games. They play Dallas, the Giants, and Green Bay. And they have Chicago. And I think Green Bay is going to beat them the next time around.
Still going to get them, huh?
Well, Detroit can't beat Seattle, can they?
No. Matter of fact, I was watching Monday Night Countdown a little bit before I came out, and one of them,
Best team.
They were all bantering and yelling at the TV about somebody's tie and whatever else, and then they finally just said the NFC might as well just quit right now because it's going to be Dallas versus Seattle in the NFC Championship game. So why don't they just rest up and we'll play it in January? And they're probably right. I mean, unless there's some major injury somewhere along the way, it doesn't look like anybody else except for those 2 teams can possibly win the NFC.
No, there's some dangerous teams, but they kind of hurt themselves yesterday. Good offensive teams might be able to make a run. The Giants and Redskins, but they both lost yesterday handily.
Yeah.
By the way. So they kind of took themselves out of it a little bit. Detroit, everybody's still waiting for them, saying, are they for real? Well, they beat a really good Saints team yesterday. Not a great win-loss record Saints team.
Right,
but,
and they played them in New Orleans.
Yeah. And first time Drew Brees hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in 60 games in New Orleans.
I did the math on that. That came out to like 7 years.
And guess who I was going against in fantasy football this week?
Drew Brees?
Yeah.
Boy, you did some good praying.
I was happy about that. But I think it's between Detroit and Green Bay. Minnesota just can't get their momentum back. I don't see it happening. And they're going to be giving Philadelphia probably a top 15 pick for giving up, for getting that great quarterback, Sam Bradford. Nice move.
It looked good for, like you said.
No, it didn't.
It looked good at 5-0. It looked like the coup of picks. They had done it perfectly.
Yeah, there was people, I mean, actually laughingly talking about Bradford being the MVP, and I'm going, come on. And,
well, Fox couldn't even find his body to put his picture up on during the promos. So anyway,
but you got to give Spielman credit. At least he tried rolling the dice and
had to do something.
The general managers all take chances. I think there was a couple other avenues they could have taken, but this was a pretty expensive avenue. And they thought they were getting a high-end quarterback, but they were just getting another. Has been number 1 overall pick, is in my opinion.
As long as you brought up Carson,
Robert Griffin, you got a bunch of them.
As long as you brought up Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles, where are you at on your boy Carson these days?
Still up.
Still up.
Way ahead of Goff.
No, not like this.
What's Goff doing? What did I say on draft night?
Well, yeah, but I mean, as far as I don't worry, I'm not comparing him to Goff. Where is he compared to himself? Where is he compared to where he was? Let's go 7 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago when he beat the Vikings. Where is he at since then?
You know what's going on in Philadelphia is their defense is gone. No,
it's not him?
No, Wentz is here.
Wentz is above medium?
Oh, yeah.
I turned the TV on yesterday at 1:30 in the afternoon. He was 2 for like 11 for 27 yards. That's this way, Michael.
Yeah, but he ended up passing for over 300.
Well, yeah, because all they could do was try to throw the ball because they were down 29-0.
Well, you call them fantasy football yards, but Wentz isn't their issue. It's their defense. That's a team that needs to play with them.
That was the team that blitzed Minnesota out of their 5-0 record.
Why are you down on my boy Wentz?
Because I don't think he's doing the job.
You're just doing it.
His team is 5-7.
You're just doing this to get me
Mr. Bison.
Actually, what did Goff do? I mean, if you're the little pretty boy liker. What did Goff do yesterday?
Goff threw a touchdown pass last week. I have no idea what he did
yesterday.
yesterday.
He threw one to Kenny Britt yesterday against New England.
Did he? I saw that they got beat pretty handily.
27 10, or it could have been worse.
So let's stop talking about the NFC. Let's move over to the AFC. What is anybody going to beat New England?
Oakland.
Oakland?
Best second half team in football right now, and
that luck's got to run out, doesn't
you all
it?
think it's going to come to kind of like Detroit, you all think something's going to happen, something's going to implode there, but they got two running backs that they're running pretty 60-40, 70-30, and Richard runs about 30% of the plays, and then Latavius Murray's running the other ones, and they got two high-end receivers, Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, and probably one of the best AFC quarterbacks on the other side of Tom Brady in the AFC would be Derek Carr. Not David Carr. Remember David Carr?
I do remember David Carr.
David was the number one overall pick by the whole Houston Texans, of course. But Oakland is for real, and New England, they're definitely for real. I really don't see much else out there, though. Kansas City and Denver keep winning, too.
I was going to say, you're going to take those three teams out of the AFC West, Denver, Kansas City, and Oakland. You're going to get New England.
What's the difference between those three teams, though? Look at them. I mean, Oakland or Denver has a great defense, no doubt.
Yep.
That's why they're even in discussion.
Kansas City,
no quarterback.
Great defense. No?
Decent defense.
Okay.
Same thing in Denver, no quarterback. Oakland has a quarterback. They're the only ones that can put up points enough to beat the Patriots.
And who are the other two division winners then?
Baltimore? What are they?
Baltimore probably.
Not much.
Yeah. And
Pittsburgh's still a threat if they can get in there. I think they play Baltimore one more time. I would say the three legitimate shots of making the Super Bowl over in the AFC would be Pittsburgh, Oakland, and then New England, maybe a step above. What about NFC? Your three favorites over there?
I don't even want to go to three. Dallas and Seattle. I don't think anybody even comes close.
Atlanta?
No.
Tough loss yesterday.
Yeah, that's a tough loss yesterday. That's
second time it's happened this year. Both AFC South teams or NFC South teams. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that. And so you got to go for two there, though, right? I mean, when you're up 28-27, you got to go for two.
But what's the weakness in Atlanta is their defense. They couldn't get the ball back. So Kansas City took it over with 4.5, ran out there 3 timeouts, got 3 first downs, game over. But bad loss for them. Now Tampa Bay's in the mix. They're both tied at 7-5, and they do play one more time. So that should be interesting. And the NFL's got what has what it basically wants. You got parity. The only one that could probably clinch early would be Dallas.
Dallas did clinch with Washington's loss yesterday.
They did. So they're in.
Dallas is in to the playoffs.
And the Vikings probably should have beat them. Yep. Again, there's another problem.
It sounds like he's talking about the Minnesota Golden Gopher football team, folks.
Just Loserville, USA. You come to Minnesota.
Make the Holiday Bowl, December 27th, 6 p.m. in case you want to watch 2 8-4 teams battle it out in San Diego in the bowl season.
What day is it again?
Tuesday, December 27th.
I can't make it.
Okay.
I just got to make sure I could make it because hopefully it's on like 2 in the afternoon too.
That's a 6 o'clock game. 6 o'clock our time.
I still can't make it. I'll be working.
Did college football, the Final Four teams, you all right with Ohio State and Clemson and Washington, Alabama?
Mm-hmm. The only thing I missed on that was I thought Colorado would actually beat Washington. They actually got steamrolled. Penn State has a legitimate argument. They did beat the number 3 seed, Ohio State. How can we not get in? They basically said to the committee, we beat your number 3 team. What do we got to do to get in?
And Ohio State can say that they beat Oklahoma and Houston, and they also beat Michigan, who are all top teams.
Yeah, Michigan probably was. You did the
bet. You got the right 4 teams in there. Penn State can cry all they want. They could have taken care of business. They got 2 losses. They don't deserve to be there.
Here's a question: Joe Pa still coaching? Do they get in?
Ooh. That's a great question. That's thought provoking.
It's thought provoking.
And the reason why some of these teams made it to where they made it, Iowa, who was a stinker all year, didn't play well in a lot of games, is playing on New Year's Day. this year or in a New Year's Day bowl game, and the Gophers aren't. Why? Because Iowa travels well, Minnesota does not travel well, and so that's why you're seeing some of these teams going to where they're going. But
San Diego isn't a bad trip.
San Diego is not a bad trip.
They went there, what, 4 years ago, I think.
It could have been.
San Diego, a couple
You
buddies.
want to talk about your Bison as long as I brought them up earlier and their
That's how they
45-7
beat
win?
somebody. They beat, San Diego. What is that? Now they
Well,
got-
okay, so I'll put it out there this way. They've lost once this year, the Bison have.
Yep.
And you know who they play this coming Saturday?
Dakota State.
And that's who they lost to, 19-17 earlier in the season. So it's a rematch.
Perfect.
It's the number 1 versus number 8 seed, so it ought to be very interesting. I believe it's a Saturday afternoon game. I haven't looked up the time of that officially, but North Dakota State versus South Dakota State ought to be a dandy. I bet the ticket prices are like on StubHub.
This one is
are going-
Fargo.
It's in
Well,
Fargo.
My brother-in-law would ask me to go. I got mine for free, but he just seems to be passing off on me lately. I don't know what he gives them to
Where's
his own.
the love?
Well, his own. I guess his immediate family's getting them, like his kids.
Those darn kids.
You think
You think they respect their elders?
Well, the elders or brother-in-law. He married my sister, so and I gave him my blessing. I gave him my blessing. So
I do want to talk just a second about Division III. St. Thomas, who had one of the best teams in college football this year, loses 34-31. They had 7 turnovers to lose that ball game. They had 7 turnovers and still scored 31. Lost 34-31. That one's going to sting for a while.
speaking of which, what you just said,
Okay.
they had one of the best teams in the country, but they lost.
Well, that happens. That happens to Ohio State and to other teams that are still going to be playing for the national championship.
Did you
and
happen to-
North Dakota State lost too, folks.
Did you happen to catch the head coach of the Louisville Cardinal?
The women's
basketball coach. His name's Walls.
Well said, Mr. Walls. Thank you. That was. I wish I could said it better, but
You
I
could
couldn't.
not say that.
I couldn't?
You could not say what he said.
I couldn't?
And not get in trouble. I don't think so. Do you think high school, being a high school?
Oh, well, if I was the high school coach, no,
Yeah.
but in my spot, couldn't.
I mean, even
I
he's
might
on,
have got my own
even
TV
he's kind
show.
of on the hot seat.
Couldn't I say it here on my own TV show?
Well, yeah. What's your thoughts on it? I mean, it is me, and that guy is me,
He hit it right
but
on the
a
head.
little more laid back. But
He hit it right on the head, Mike.
Let's tell people what he did. What did he say?
He basically came out and said that that you shouldn't be giving trophies and medals to people who take 5th place. Not everybody who takes last place deserves a medal, a trophy, a participation trophy. You should win to get something, and we're setting kids up for later in life for awful things that, well, I deserve something because I took part. No, you if you want a trophy, you got to win it. And I agree with him 100%. I know it's not politically correct, but it was well said.
Yeah, he kind of went off after millennials.
Yeah.
The way I kind of to read it. I mean, he's basically saying too that the kids' expectations are not only will they get jobs, but they should get darn good jobs. Instead of, well, no, you actually got to work hard and do something to impress the people that are interviewing you on why they should hire you over the competition.
And I'm not judging.
No, we're not going after
I'm not
wins.
judging my daughter or anything else, but I know there were a lot of hockey tournaments she played in during her youth years, during her 12 U's and 10 U's, and she'd come home with a nice trophy with her name written on it and the whole 9 yards, and I'm like, you guys didn't win. What are we doing with this trophy? It just does not make sense to me. It never has.
Another good line, he called it the friendship bracket.
That part of it I did not see.
You lose a couple games, well, you stick around for the rest of the weekend because we got that other bracket over here. You can curl around and play a bunch of consolation games. Well, we used to call it toilet bowls. But
Keep
they
you in
called that
town so that you spend your money in
the
town.
friendship bracket, he called it, and he was harsh. He didn't hold
Once he
back.
got started, he couldn't stop the
And
snowball from rolling down.
I went back on some other ones, and he had some interesting things to say about the Baylor head coach when she was complaining about how aggressive, how physical they were against Brittany Griner here about 3 years ago. I watched that. The guy's a quotable guy. I mean, I wish he'd become the Vikings coach or something. 'Cause he is. He tells it the way it is, and if he gets fired from Louisville, I don't think he'll have a hard time getting a job anywhere else.
I don't think so either.
Good for that. I think that was needed what he said, and I hope a lot of people watch it because it's gotten out of hand. Failure you can't be afraid of. You actually got to do something when you lose and make yourself better for it.
Western Michigan, coach was on College Game Day a couple weeks ago when they were sitting at 11-0, and he is the poster child for being upbeat and everything else, getting to work early, working hard, and he basically said losing is the best learning tool that we have. Mm-hmm. When it hurts, when it doesn't feel right, and you got to learn that you got to have to work harder. It's the best thing to get kids motivated to do the next thing. We all have to make mistakes. We all have to fail, and we got to learn from it. And sometimes we aren't going to get that pat on the back and say we did a good job because sometimes we didn't. And it's the way it is. It's tough love, and that's okay. How about your Wild last night? Happy with the win? Did we play well in your eyes? I know you're not always about the win, but your good friend Captain Koivu came up with the game winner in overtime.
Good friend.
Your good friend, Nico.
Actually, the Wild just played horrendous in the first period. I had to quit watching it.
I did not get to see the first period, but I did get to watch the second.
A buddy of mine, I'm not tweeting until after the holidays either.
You're on hiatus?
I made a comment about Chris Stewart and Matt Dumba, and it was kind of like, why do they keep showing the lazy players walking into the dressing room when they should be showing the hard-working players? My buddy texted me, he says, come on, Bully, it's the holidays. He said, they're going to practice. So I said, you're right. I don't know why I said that. So I'm untweetable until after the holidays. Let's see if I can hold on to that.
Okay, so I'll ask you, did you listen to the sports on the radio this morning? Because I purposely put the cut in for you about Dumba being on the ice, and Mikko said, Dumba got the play started, got a good pass to Charlie, and Charlie got the pass to me to put the backhander in the net. And I put it on there just for you so I could stir your pot for the day and get your adrenaline going as you drove down the road to wherever you were going this morning. Because Dumba was in on the game-winning goal. Well, and he was in on the game-winning overtime goal, I believe, a couple weeks ago.
When Granlund.
So he apparently shows up.
Oh, for gosh sakes. Here's the deal. I watched the play develop, and it did start with Dumba.
You did?
You're absolutely right. He took off, he beat a guy one-on-one, and then
as Mikko said, kept their defense from switching out.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Turned it into a 3-on-2, and then Charlie made which was such a telegraphed pass. I just think the speed of it was so good that it didn't matter if it was telegraphed or not, because Mikko was pretty much in anyways. Okay, so, but Dumba did start that. Also, my buddy Bruce, and he is my buddy, Boudreau, did give credit to both Gabriel and Stewart for changing the pace of that game around. The Wild were dead in that first period. Gabriel went out and got in a fight. Stewart went out there and started hitting people, which somebody finally told him that's why the Wild signed him. It wasn't to score 20 goals and 20 assists. It's basically to muck it up and cause problems in front of the net and stick up for your teammates. And both of them did that last night, changed the momentum of the game. And I thought the last two periods, the Wild played extremely well, really well, both all three ends of the ice.
Okay.
Good win.
I'm gonna ask you this question now.
Uh-oh.
Have you changed your opinion on whether the Wild make the playoffs or not?
Oh no.
No.
Too inconsistent, Ringer. You win one, lose one. Win two, lose one.
Yeah, but in the NHL, that's good enough to make the playoffs. Well, win one, lose one, you're in basically.
Well, you have 500 teams.
Yeah, 500 teams.
They were so fortunate last year getting in at 87 points. You need normally about 94 to 97 to get in. Okay, they got in on a whisker last year, and then they get knocked out in the first round. Wild fans are tired of being seeded 6, 7, and 8. It's not a good spot to be. You want home ice. It's the only way you're going to beat the big end teams like the Blackhawks and
what do your sources tell you how long Taves is out for the Blackhawks?
It's changing.
Is it?
Yeah, he was supposed to come back last night they played.
Well, they put him on the IR, which means he must have to be
just out. Today they did?
I think I saw that Saturday night or Sunday morning, one of the two.
Okay, he had mentioned in an interview that if this was the playoffs, he would be good to go. But something happened. I think,
has he got the Parisi thing going on?
I think it could be, but what's
too many cross checks?
What goes on when these high-end players, they kind of get pressured in a little bit quicker. We need you back in. We need you back in. So they work extra hard. The injury is sometimes the least thing you worry about. It's conditioning and things like that. And when you're trying to get back into shape, you might end up tweaking that same injury because you're pushing yourself that much harder to get back, or you might tweak something else. So I think they should take their time with guys like Taves. Although you can see that he's very much needed, but he might be out a couple 3 weeks yet.
Okay.
We'll see. Could hurt him.
Anything else in the NHL?
NHL, nothing really discussable, I guess. Saw the Gophers get whomped 8-2 by Ohio State.
After winning on Friday night, they won there, and a couple of weeks of real hockey coming up, or maybe only one more weekend of college hockey coming up before the month-long break, 3 weeks off. Which
take 3 weeks off. And
UMD just took 2 weeks off, and now they're going to get another 3 weeks off, and it's kind of crazy. UMD hasn't played in 2 weeks, still the number 1 team in the nation, which tells you that what happened with Ohio State this week in football is not a weird thing, that even if you don't play, doesn't mean you should fall.
Now they play Denver, who's the number 2 team.
Correct.
And now this will be the second time this year that the number 1 and 2 teams played each other. Yeah. When was the last time that happened?
Well, I saw a thing on that on the internet over the weekend, and it seemed like it was 2009 the last time that the the last 1 and 2 played, but you probably got it memorized.
Well, Micheletti tweeted it. Okay. I believe it was 2001, 2002.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, but I'll have to check that out tonight and see who's right.
Yeah, it's well, and it is kind of a
let's put it this way. I want to find out so we can see who's wrong.
The rarity in it is that you get the 1 and 2 teams in the same conference.
Because we're not doing that little sympathy thing. Who's right? Let's.
Yeah, we're gonna give the medal.
We want the negative part of it. We want who's wrong. But anyways, lots going on in college hockey. Speaking of college hockey, we got the World Junior Cup. The U.S. Named their 27 players they invited to camp. They'll keep 23 of them or 24 of them.
Okay, how many Minnesotans?
Well, Luke Kunin is like the main guy.
Okay.
Wild draft pick, plays for the University of Wisconsin. Not a lot of Minnesotans. I believe 4 or 5. The Bellows kid's on there. The Lindgren kid who plays for the U.
Toronto and Montreal this year for the junior tournament, so we won't be watching it on the NHL network at odd times of the morning.
We get to watch.
It'll be on during kind of afternoons and prime time, which is a lot better viewing. You can watch that instead of the bowl games, like Minnesota, for example, playing a bowl game.
Some of the most exciting hockey you'll see. These are young guys. Eriksson Ek plays for the Sweden team. He'll probably be the captain of that team. And Micheletti tweeted today. He said the USA team is loaded. So take that for what it's worth. They got Besser back, this Triss kid back. I think they got 5 guys off of last year's team that'll be back, and so we'll see. It's always fun to watch it. Motzko, who I think is a good coach to be coaching this group of kids. The coach at St. Cloud, he'll be the head coach, and we'll see what happens. Where are we going?
How about what do you think of Tony Kucher's Little Falls Flyers on Friday night?
Not a bad little team. It's one of his, it's a little better than the last couple of years. The Falls and Little Falls are pretty close, and
not a 6-1 game.
No,
I've had a couple people tell me that that it was not a 6-1 game.
No, and it wasn't because of bad goaltending. I mean, I thought Call played really well. I get to watch him 2 periods because I'm down there with the
switch
thing, and I thought he played really well. They scored 3 in about a minute. And it was kind of unfortunate. A couple went off some skates and some sticks, and I think Call felt pretty bad, but George kept him in there. Didn't want to make him look like it was his fault, and it definitely wasn't. Falls are having a hard time scoring. They're pressing, they're holding on to those sticks a little tight. As soon as they can relax a little bit and remember to go out there and play hard, but you got to have some fun too.
Yep, Evelyn on Tuesday night at Bronco Arena, Friday down to Hibbing to take on the Hibbing Chisholm Blue Jackets for the Bronco boys. The Bronco girls hockey team gets a split in the cities. They whoop up on Woodbury 8-3 and lose to Park of Cottage Grove by a final score of 4-1. I'm sure you must talk to your brother.
Yeah, I did.
And what did he say?
Scouting report, Park, he thought the Falls had a little more than Park.
Okay. Because he told me last week before they went that he knew that they would present a bigger challenge than Woodbury.
Yeah, they were much better than Woodbury, but he said the goalie played really well. He thought actually the Falls girls played better the second night.
Wow.
and but still ended up losing, I believe, 4-1. Lexi Erickson scored both nights, it looks like. And
Lexi Erickson scored both nights. T-Lander with a little T with a hat trick on Friday.
Erickson.
And the girls have a couple of tough road games coming up. They're in Hibbing on Tuesday in a big Section 7A battle.
not tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow,
Tuesday.
Really? Wow.
Tuesday. And then they play back in Duluth on Thursday at a 7 o'clock game also against Duluth Marshall on Thursday. So they've got a couple of Section 7A games coming up this week. They'll have their hands full. It would be awesome if they could go 2-0. I think all time they've only got 2 wins against Hibbing all time, and like, don't quote me on this now, 26-2, I think, all time against Hibbing. A win on Tuesday night would put a lot of confidence in this team, and it would kind of get this team. They're already going, but I think keep them going.
They got the horses to do it.
Yeah.
No pun intended, but good makeup of the team. They got one high-end line, a good checking second line that can put the puck in the net, led by the Bragg girl, and then a good, hard-working group of third-liners who are still trying to find out who's going to be in that mix.
Exactly.
So get out there and support your local sports when you can.
Girls basketball, Broncos got their season open last Thursday with a win at Eveleth. They're playing, as soon as we get done taping the show, we'll be heading over there to watch them take on Chisholm. And the Viking teams also got, the basketball teams got their season started. The girls went 0-2 and the boys 0-1, but they'll find their way through and make things go. The Bronco wrestlers got started over the weekend, and also the Bronco swimmers get started this week.
How many wrestlers are there?
I got a text message. I want to say there's 8.
Okay.
8, and just 2 wrestled this weekend. They've got injuries right now is the biggest thing. One kid broke his arm three-wheeling. One's out with a pulled groin. It sounded like a MASH unit.
Sure.
Had been through when I read through the names. So
this Chisholm team you're going to watch, if I remember you
you heard me say that.
They scored 8 points.
6.
6. And
They
you
lost
said yes.
They
You
lost
heard me right.
You heard me right. They
So
lost.
this should be an
70-40.
offensive juggernaut.
Yeah, the Broncos should win handily going into tonight's game, and
Is that why you're not broadcasting it?
that is the reason why I'm not broadcasting it. That was the choice early on, that we knew that Chisholm probably wasn't. I know I got chastised over the weekend for not broadcasting this game tonight.
People actually chastise you.
They
for
do get
doing
on
it?
me for not doing games.
Who's the worst? Which person?
There's no, you know what? There's no one worse person. It's like, aren't you doing the game on the radio tonight? No, Anyway, I got 2 games.
Well, at least they're not saying you're not doing the radio tonight, are you? When you start hearing that,
Yeah, then you know that there's trouble.
cancel all the advertisers.
2 games this week, and the girls' basketball team does have a big one coming up against Virginia over the weekend. So a good one there. So where do you want to go next?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
He wants to talk Timberwolves.
No.
1-1. Hey, down 7 points with 38.8 seconds left on Saturday night. They come back and tie it. Wiggins goes crazy, and then they absolutely bombed them in overtime.
Only the NBA you can do that because you get the ball at half court when you call a timeout.
And that's quirky.
Yeah,
That's
they
quirky.
got a 4-point play, I believe, on one other one with a fouling a guy at the 3-point line. Here's my favorite: a guy gets at the 3-point line and he intentionally tries to get fouled, and the refs call it every time. To me, that should be borderline charging. If you forward yourself into a body on purpose to get a call because he's jumping up and trying to block the shot.
You are wise.
Well, I mean, seriously, the
wise.
game is so boring. Thing is, they got so much money coming in from TV, and you got a big enough audience that isn't like me, that really doesn't care about the beauty and all that of the game. But the NBA is oh boy, we could no.
No, we can't.
I'm not going to talk about
Monday
it.
Night Football. Who's playing tonight?
Indianapolis at the Jets.
Okay, so now the Vikes get Jacksonville coming up next Sunday, and then they get Indy the following week.
At home.
At home,
Should
and
go
then
2-0.
And then they should
big
go
game,
2-0.
Green Bay.
That's the prediction.
Should go.
Then they got Green Bay on Christmas Eve in Green Bay, and then
Yep.
they get Chicago at home on New Year's Day. So your prediction that they're going to go 3-1 over those last?
Yeah, they won't beat Green Bay. They won't beat Green Bay. Who's
And
the last game?
Chicago.
Yeah, they'll
at
beat
home.
them. So they'll go 3-1.
So they'll be
end up
9-7.
Yeah, the typical Vikings.
And do they
here.
do they make the playoffs at 9-7?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Why do you think that 9-7?
No, I don't think 9-7 is going to be good enough. They're going to have to get to 10, and that's not to win the division. They're going to have to get 10 to get to a wild card. So
Okay, because Detroit would have to lose three in order for the Vikings to jump
yeah,
up.
the Vikes got to be one game ahead of them to win the division.
Yeah, and which they could lose three: Dallas, the Giants, and Green Bay. There you go. You know, there could be your three losses that we're looking for, and
Yep.
if the Vikings do beat Green Bay in Green Bay, they could run the table and get in as the NFC Central champs. But it's a lot will have to do with the New York Giants.
Is AP going to come back and play?
I hope not.
You hope not.
Why do we want to watch that? I'm done with him.
You're done with AP. Maybe he's
Well,
the,
are
maybe
we
he's
gonna
the
re-sign him
juice.
next year?
Maybe he's the energy that this team
They're
needs.
not going to sign him next year. It's going to cost too much money. They're going to let it go and find another Ezekiel Elliott to start taking over.
Question and answer period.
Although they don't have a first-round pick. Any Q&A from you guys tonight?
Yeah, why isn't miniature golf been a professional sport?
You and
I
your...
mean, it's complicated, you know. You can make it.
I love miniature golf. I'll be honest with you. I'll bet if ESPN threw enough
of
money
course he
at it,
likes
they could make it in. They could make it a sport.
It's all about geometry. It has
It is.
nothing to
It's
do
about
with...
the angles.
Yeah, a pool, same thing. You know, it's all about geometry, and that's why he likes it. You know, it isn't all about having good hands or
Ripping
hand-eye
and ripping it.
coordination,
It's
you
not
know,
all about
it's,
hitting it 400 yards off the tee.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean...
if you hit it hard enough, you're going to hit it through the windmill. So, you know.
There you go.
But I guess to answer it, if I had actually a legitimate answer for that, that would be really sad.
If that was a professional sport.
Yeah. But hey, no questions are dumb questions, just dumb people asking questions. Right?
What else? You've always
Now
got a
he's
trio.
afraid to ask
You've always
somebody.
got a trio.
What's the current status of curling? Have they started practice for curling? And
They had curling night in America in Duluth over the weekend. They taped all kinds of matches, and that will be shown on NBC Sports starting in January, and they'll probably run them through about April. And a lot of the major teams were there from around the world, and so I wish I could still be curling. It just does not fit into a schedule on a Tuesday night with sports.
It's kind of like bowling on ice.
It is kind of like bowling on ice.
Yeah.
There's a little more geometry to it than
It's hard. It's a very skillful game,
Should
and
be an icebox. Here.
Icebox day.
It should be icebox days.
Yeah.
There-
Make some sheets out here. Just let people come out.
They actually do have an icebox tournament over in Fort Francis.
I actually turkey bowled once during the ice box. I got invited to go turkey
And?
bowling. Well,
How'd you do? I don't care about how'd you do.
well, there really isn't.
I want to know, do you deserve a medal?
Well, it's 40 below, so you didn't legitimately go 10 lanes. I think you basically threw 3 balls, and if you got them all down, you got a ribbon.
You got a ribbon for participating.
For
and you loved it.
participation. Absolutely. What else?
so, what's your favorite icebox kind of sport then, or little game? Because they do boot hockey at the rink here. They do golf down at Thunderbird.
Schmoosh races?
As far as watching, I guess smoosh.
Schmoosh? Is that how it's said? I've lived here
racing.
long enough. I should have it down how to
What
say
is
it.
that? Snowshoe racing?
That's where they put you on a 2 by 4s, and you get a team of 4, and you got to slide.
Kind of like the indoor events, like the chili feeds and things like that. And where's that part at this year?
Well, usually,
They're making.
I used to
it
like it when, no offense to the committee, because if I wanted to complain, I should join, right?
Yeah.
But I liked it when they had it in a bar, we're helping out local businesses. When they started putting it over at Bacchus, I didn't think that was my opinion. Even though KCC is a big part of Bacchus, my opinion, I don't think that's the right venue. Maybe, but they had to go there because of legal reasons.
And, yeah.
chicken wing eating contest is at the Viking.
Wow.
Oh, it is.
It has been for the last 2 or 3 years.
Awesome.
Chicken wing eating contest.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
you
course,
could do
of
that.
course,
We might be able to.
We might have to do one on TV. Me and you live, or not live, but taped.
Part of our
And,
show that
part of our
weekend?
show, and tell you what, Bully Boy can put down some chicken wings. I'm telling you, little oyster sauce.
Anything else?
No, we had our first annual ice golf event last year that myself, my wife, Megan Bond, and Eric Johnson, and Mike Rom, and Thunderbird put on last year. It was.
Would they have like a little mini golf course out in the?
We created 9 fairways out in front of the Thunderbird, and the average was about 150 feet, 175 feet to the hole. We created 8-inch auger bowls, 4 inches deep.
For water,
We
oh.
use tennis balls, hockey. You can use a hockey stick. You can use a golf club. You can pretty much anything to get it to the hole. They're all par 3s or 4s, and there's drink carts going around. And,
Oh, is that going on again this year?
Yes.
It is. So
Yeah,
what night will that be on?
It's on it's Saturday. It's registration's at 10. Tee off at.
Here's what I'm going to do, and we like to do this. Would you be willing to get on our show
And talk about that?
next week? No, not next week. The following week to talk about that.
Yeah, one of us can for sure.
Well, we'll invite both of you.
Yeah, well, it's we have me, Eric Johnson, Mike Rom, Megan, Melody, a whole bunch of us. I mean,
Why don't you leave us your number, and Ringer and I will get a hold of you, and we'd love to hear everything you know about Icebox Days.
okay.
Okay? You're on the committee and all that?
I'm on the golf committee for that.
Okay, but you seem in the know on a lot of other
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So,
And our company is we're redesigning the Freezer Gizzard Blizzard medals this year. Are all brand new.
that's stuff we want. Yeah.
The new Icebox Days runner shirts this year, new design. The poster, if you saw the Voyager poster last year, you see the guy riding the Icebox. We're doing a new version of that this year. Those posters should be up hopefully by the end of this week around town. And then a schedule of events will be separate from that. So they're trying to, I've been working a little bit with the chamber, and they're really making a great effort to rebrand Icebox Days. So eventually we could have 400 racers, 450 racers. We could have 20 teams, 30 teams in the Schmoosh races instead of our around 7 to 10 or something like
it.
this last year. There's a lot of good stuff going on that I've heard. And
Okay, now quit talking because we're going to take away from that show. we're going to invite you in 2 weeks, and I think we'll have a good time. We'll get your name, and you can have a couple glasses of wine before you get on. Absolutely.
That'll help. Anything else?
I'm good. Don't take us too serious.
Thanks, everybody.